The word of God, their spirit and their life. And it's the truth of the word that is living and is still existing. He said, the heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. Because that's a living word. It's a continual tense, continuous sentences. And it's a living word that it still lives today. But some leaders, they feel like they know better than generations of leaders that come before them, decided to use their power and abuse it and fraud homes and not teach the people in the way they should go. So when they're old and become leaders like that, they don't depart from the truths of the word of God. If you read in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, it said, train up the child in the way they should grow. So when they are old, they don't depart from it. We can see the neglect of leaders because of family distortion, brokenness of families that they have inherited through their life. Because maybe a mother or a father was not in their lives. Or maybe a mother or father did not know God. Maybe a mother or a father was not bound by the truth of the word of the living to build and raise children. For before time, it's mothers that raise children. A virtuous woman that raise children. Because they pray. They know how to deal with their emotion. They know how to pull family together. They know and understand the needs of a household and keep it in order. But when your lawlessness orders goes through, now a man think that they can abuse their power of a man because they want to be a leader over a woman. But how can you have leaders over women when they're not responsible? And that's where I want the focus of our text today to focus about the importance of mothers. They say when you're a child, you act like a child. And when you're old, you act like an adult. You act like you're old. We can see the lawlessness orders that goes through globally. It's because of lack of parenting from motherhood that has affected our leaders of these generations. Because we're missing a virtuous woman in their lives that will bring the living word of God to them if they can't get it from their father. So when they are old, when they sit in power and making others, they will think and go back to the basic or fundamental principles of life. That they don't make others that will affect the lives of another because they are in power and authority. These are the lawlessness people that we have in these days. And with these days, during the time of lockdown, we need to take the moment and observe women. Observe womanhood. And know that a virtuous woman. And when I look at these generations that we live in, and how leaders are negligent being a leader, it's very sad. It is very, very sad that leaders these days are very selfish. Leaders these days, they don't care who they sabotage in life. Because for them, a poor and a needy and fatherless, they don't have to come and experience that. Because when their children are crying, they are there for them. Because you don't get to have their children taken away from them. You don't get to have children being brainwashed by leaders as soldiers in your house. When they send children into my home to come and soldier, using their parents to soldier, and the parents, a leader behind the parents, using their child to come and soldier for information. And this is what we deal with these days, because they didn't have a virtuous woman raising them. It has to take a virtuous woman to raise children. So when you grow, just as the Bible speaks in Proverbs 22 verses, they don't depart from it. So when they do wickedness to somebody, they will stop and think twice about that. How that affects another person's life. When they slave a mother and slave children to an abuser, they don't want you to talk about that. When they invade a mother, a female, a woman, invade children, girls, to the public and to the abuser, because they did not have a virtuous woman raising them to understand that dignity and privacy was a priority than anything else that one can ever ask for. But this is your lawlessness leaders. They don't care to have a man watch you naked in your house. Have a woman watch you naked in your house. Have boys and girls watch you naked in your house in the public. Because of the lawlessness people. Because for them, having men and women sleeping together is okay with them. Having men sleeping with men is okay with that. And of course, having girls sleeping with girls and boys sleeping with girls is okay with that for them. And that's why they invade a mother like myself. Because of their lawlessness mindset and mentality. Because they don't understand what it takes to have a woman nakedness being watched by public. Because your lawlessness, all this goes through her. There's nothing in their eyes when they lust for a woman's body. This is your lawlessness orders. And it's okay today for neighbors to watch a woman in their house. It's okay to go to healthcare professionals seeking for help. And they'll microchip you without your consent. It's okay for you to go to people for help. And your leaders will put surveillance in your home and invade your privacy. And make it look like something that is not. It's okay today that you can go to a lawyer office and meet a judge today, and a judge already know your nakedness before you meet a judge. You go and meet a lawyer has already seen your nakedness before you go and meet a judge. Anybody you go and come and see today has watched your nakedness before you come and know them. Because of a lawlessness orders of a leader that was missing a virtuous woman in their life to raise them properly in the way they should go. So when they're old, they don't depart from the truth. What is the truth? Because they lack a virtuous woman. Now, because there was lack of virtuous woman in generations and lives, current generations, you can see the brokenness that goes into people that they can't even hold in household because of a virtuous woman is missing in their lives. You have people committing adulteries, fornicating, lasting for people's flesh, doing witchcraft, hatred, violence, eliminations, wraths, strifes, healers. Because They lack wisdom of the word of God and the truth. Because they are missing a virtuous woman when they were a child growing up. When they are a child growing up, so that they can mentor people when they are old, and when they have their own, they can raise them right. Now you have your lawlessness orders and say, no, a man can raise children these days. It's not a woman's responsibility. When your basic fundamental principle tells you, it's a woman that raises children and take care of the children in the household and keep their house in order. A woman understands the needs of children than any man, because we are built to nourish, to care for, to keep a house in order, and to mentor, and to build and raise generation of leaders that understand privacy and dignity as a priority to a decent life in humanity. But because your leaders were lacking lawlessness these days, they teach the next generation and teach current generation that it's okay to invade people's privacy. It's okay to watch somebody naked when they are going to their bathroom, when they are sleeping, whatever they are doing in their house. It's okay for you to view that, because they lack virtuous women in their life. In the word according to Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. But your lawlessness orders of people say now that they can come through a woman. A man can come through a woman. A woman can come through a woman. But these days, their lawlessness order tells you, no, cut down the regeneration from there. Let the women sleep with women, and let the men sleep with men. These are your lawlessness people, because they were lacking a virtuous woman in their household when they were growing, before they get to be a leader. And they are still feeling, they are missing that void, that emptiness. And instead of them seeking for help and dealing with their emotion of void and emptiness, they bring their frustration on all of you public people that they're ruling over them, and turn away from the truth that is a basic fundamental principle of life because of their insecurity. This is how God's people are suffered in the hands of brutality and injustice of leaders, that they are ignorant and not seeking for help in the right places to get help. And that's what is so amazing about my ministry. It's designed to stand for justice and righteousness, to preach the gospel, to save the lost.